Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed. Shop now for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Streamed and Screened, an entertainment podcast about movies and TV from Lee Enterprises. I'm Terry Lipshetz, managing editor of the National Newsroom at Lee, co-host of the program with Bruce Miller, a longtime entertainment reporter, and a beautiful, beautiful person. You are just, yeah.
Long time is another word of saying old.
That's right. But do you have anything, though, to make you look younger? Any elixir out there or anything?
You know what? I did try Botox once. I'll tell you why. What happened? I went to it was a fundraiser, and I was emceeing the fundraiser, and I noticed that nobody was bidding on the Botox. And I thought, well, that's odd. And I realized what was because nobody wanted them to know that they used Botox. So I will do it. I will, because it was $50. $50, I could make the concession, right?
Right.
So I go to the thing, and I realized after I had it done, I had no expression. Because I am, if you know me, I'm a person who really uses his face.
Yes.
I will do a lot of expressions, but I was like kind of held like this, and I couldn't talk like that. But I was just, it was a mask, and I thought, this is not me. As much as I might look old, I don't want to lose my ability to have that kind of flexibility.
Yeah.
Well, that is not on my wheelhouse. Although, look, I was willing to try it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I'm vain like that, and I would do whatever it takes to give. Now I'm age spots. I'm looking at age spots. Can we burn this thing off? I think this one needs to go. But yeah, and so that's such an obsession. Like now this Ozempic, Mounjaro, all those kind of weight loss drugs.
Right.
That fascinates me because I don't want to have to work out. I'm lazy, but I don't know what the end game is with that. How does that ruin your system somehow if you're not really somebody it's meant for?
Yeah. Well, there's the other issue too is they're not designed to be on them forever. So once you lose your 40 pounds, right, that becomes a problem, and then you're just seesawing your weight back and forth again. So yeah, so that is a problem. But
yeah, I think with those, they'll do a little touch up before an award show or some big thing, so they look good for that, and then they probably go off it.
Yeah, right. But speaking of good, the looks and the beauty, you did get to watch and talk with some actors from a new Ryan Murphy series, right?
And Ryan Murphy was in on this way, way, way a long time ago. If you remember Nip Tuck,
Yep.
which is plastic surgery, and he's got his finger on the pulse of what's going on in Hollywood, so he's not afraid to raise the subject. And in the Beauty, they have this. I don't know if you call it an injection or what, because it involves sex too.
Right.
But you take this, and then there are some bad consequences for the way you use it.
Mm-hmm.
You could explode. So, there's that. I don't want to explode. But yeah, I got a chance to talk to Ashton Kutcher, Jeremy Pope, and Anthony Ramos. If they play 3 of the people who are kind of involved with this substance known as the Beauty. And Ashton plays a trillionaire who is kind of the money behind all of this. Anthony is the enforcer, or what they call the assassin.
Okay.
And so he's making sure people are towing the mark. And then Jeremy is one of the users. In the beginning of the series, you see him as this very large man, and he becomes this kind of hunk after taking the Beauty. And I had a chance to talk to the 3 of them, and interestingly, Ashton has a different perspective on all of this than most people because he was a model before he became
Oh,
Ashton Kutcher.
right.
So if you want to run the interview, you'll see the three of them and they'll talk about it. And then we come back and I've got another one for you too. Sure, it's Bruce Miller. It's the Sioux City Journal. Ashton, which business is more looks oriented, the modeling business or the entertainment business?
Oh, I would say the modeling business is more aesthetically narrow. It is a more narrow band. Whereas like the entertainment business, when you're portraying worlds and characters and things, it takes a massive aesthetic variety. And I would say that the fashion business has a relatively narrow aesthetic that they're chasing.
So when you're dealing with
relative
that,
terms,
when you're in the modeling business, is rejection easier to take because you know that's they're going to cut you because of that, or is it harder?
I think there's kind of I remember modeling when I was 19 and 20 and going in the room and going, there's nothing I could have done. Like they just don't like the way I look. But then on the other side of it, it's like, oh, they just don't like the way I look. Right. And you go, and you constantly go like, why is that? And then in the entertainment industry, there are other variables that are at play. And so I would say that the it's harder because you it's a mental warfare that you have to play with yourself, where you go, did I not get the role because I aesthetically don't look like the character that the director envisions, or did I not get the role because they don't like my performance or portrayal?
There's more to judge you on.
But and sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other. Sometimes you don't get any feedback whatsoever, and so you start questioning whether it was your performance, and then you start developing insecurity. And the one thing that you can't bring to the table as a performer is insecurity. If you start by questioning yourself, you will end up down a spiral where you're thinking about what your hands are doing in a scene, and then it gets bad.
It's dicey. Yeah. Well, Anthony, do you have a name? Did you give him a name, or is he just always the assassin?
No, he has a name, but you find out later on what his name is. But yes,
I haven't gotten that far. Okay, good. Then the eye thing, how do you hold that in your eye? Is it glued in, or how does that handle?
Well, great question. It's some double-sided thing that sticks. It sticks to the eye patch, but also
does it fall out ever?
No, it does not fall out. Like I have to like peel it off at the end of the day. Although I do have one scene where in the scene I had to do it without any of the sticky stuff on it because I could put it on right before we shoot, so I don't have to fake it taking it on and off. But in that scene I had to put it on. So I couldn't have any of the sticky stuff on it. So I just it was dicey. We had to kind of shoot it a couple times because it kept falling. But eventually I got the right pocket and,
You're there. You're a pirate. That's why you...
Right, 100%. I mean, look at these sleeves.
You are so pirate. You are... Jeremy, what is it like fighting in the nude? That seems like...
What is it like? It is unmatched. And when you get to do it with your boy whose family, it was crazy. I mean, I know when I'm doing a Ryan project, I'm going to be asked to do some unimaginable things. So yeah, fighting in the nude is pretty wild.
Well, for all of you, when you get a Ryan project, it's not going to be just a simple little thing. Does he spill anything at some point and say, oh, and by the way, this is in there? Or do you wait until you start it and there you are?
For me, he gave me a heads up on the character I was playing, like the general modus operandi of the character, and that's it. And then every time you get a screenplay, you're going, what? What? Like there were a couple times I turned to my wife, I was like, babe, I don't, this is, and so, and then the work begins and you go, okay, I have to normalize this. Like I have to like justify this. I have to make this rational. I have to make this comfortable. I have to get to the point where I can approach this and not be afraid of it. I have to get to the point where I can approach this and own it. I have to get to the point where I can approach this and justify it. And that's the fun of working on the Ryan stuff is the minute you see two dots and you're like, oh, there's a line, I can see where the trajectory goes. A dot shows up over here and that's where you're heading.
Right. Yeah, it looks like it's wild to do. I bet it is. But hey, thank you guys for doing it. I'm dying to find out how it all ends, but
Thank you.
maybe it doesn't. You know,
All right, come on.
Stay well. Have a good winter in Sioux City, man.
colder than you can believe. You don't want to be here.
All right, Bruce, thanks for that interview. And then you got a chance to speak to two other cast members,
The
correct?
stars,
Yeah.
Evan Peters and Rebecca Hall, and they play FBI agents who are investigating what this beauty is. I said it's a lot like The Substance, isn't it? And well, they're very hesitant to say anything like that because Demi Moore, who used to be married to Ashton Kutcher, was the star of that. So, but they have their own take on the concept of what the beauty is and what it's like to do a Ryan Murphy project. What does this mean for them? So here's me talking to Rebecca Hall and Evan Peters. It's Bruce Miller. It's the Sioux City Journal.
Hello.
Do you speak all those languages or just the lines?
No, just the lines. I could speak a little bit of French, but I'd have trouble saying that to a French-speaking individual for sure.
It's very impressive, I must say. When
Thank
you
you.
talk to Ryan about doing a project together, does he tell you everything or does he hold back?
He'll tell you just enough to get you to sign on. He'll get you in there and get you excited and enticed. And he did tell me at the top, he said there's going to be some very long action sequences and you'll be speaking different languages and there'll be a romance. There'll be a love story involved. And I said, sign me up. That sounds great.
Good. I'm not a serial killer. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, of course. I'm ready. Yeah.
Well, Rebecca, when you saw this all kind of unfold, how did you feel about when people are exploding and whatnot? I mean, is it scary? Because it seems creepy and it seems scary.
Does it seem creepy and scary? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, before I read the script, Ryan gave me a sort of breakdown of what it was about, and he described in detail the first 5 minutes of the pilot, which is pretty exact to how it comes out. And when he described the situation of a well-known supermodel walking down the runway and then and then ending in an explosion, I thought that was the most delightfully preposterous and funny thing I'd ever heard of. So I couldn't imagine who was not going to watch it. So I don't know that I really took it as seriously as to think it was creepy or scary or any of those things until I was in it in different ways, I think.
Does it transpire then when you're there? Do you think, oh, that was really creepy? Or is it like, oh, I see the technique behind it, so no, it's not?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, you know. I think it looks creepy when I watch it. It's very successful, but I think when we're doing it, we're not.
Were the two of you supposed to be like X-Files?
Mike Mulder and Scully.
I did have that question.
I
They
did.
said, who's the science and who's the sort of mystical creature believer?
You
So
saw
never really figured it out. We didn't really flesh that out. It was never.
I have not
properly
seen
answered.
all of it, so I don't know if it could happen, but could these characters come back? Could they be?
Anything's possible, I guess.
Anything is possible. I mean, in this world, there's.
Yeah.
Have either of you come up against the idea of looks when they're casting? Do people talk about that at all or not? Do they say, yeah, you don't have the right look for this? Or are looks not a problem anymore?
They certainly
Yeah.
don't tell you.
I think we'll be on the point of it, but I think for sure we've all as actors, been in situations where it's obvious that you're not right for something because you look a certain way, and it makes more sense for someone who looks a different sort of way to play that character, no matter how well you might have played the part. That's a reality of being an actor, that you have to deal with, and it can be complicated sometimes.
When you're doing this, do you start thinking, well, now, do I need a little something here, or do I need to do whatever?
I think what this show is trying to say, and what's great about it is the message of individuality and the thing that makes you unique, and celebrating that and amplifying that, and being confident in that, and that's a theme in a lot of Ryan Murphy shows, and especially obviously in this one.
Yeah.
So it's empowering, I think.
Then how close does it come to the substance?
Well, I mean, the substance is in a long line of things that are dealing with. I mean, you go all the way back to, I don't know, Greek myths. There are Greek myths about this, It's like there's a lot of stories that are like this, or like Cronenberg body horror predates the substance, and then you've got the substance. So I think it's in dialogue with all these things, and it's additive. But it isn't the substance. It has lots of other elements as well.
Still creeps me out. I just got to tell you that. But hey, you guys,
you're really like in
I am
freaked out space, aren't you?
The lights are
quite
on. This show is going. Can I tell you? I am not going to be alone on this one. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Mackenzie, and I started a GoFundMe for the adoptive mother of a nonverbal autistic child. The mother had lost her job because she wasn't able to find adequate care for this autistic child. So she really needed some help with living expenses, paying some back bills. So I launched a GoFundMe to help support them during this crisis. And we raised about $10,000 within just a couple of months. I think that the surprising thing was by telling a clear story and just like really being very clear about what we needed, we had some really generous donations from people who were really moved by the situation that this family was struggling with.
GoFundMe is the world's #1 fundraising platform trusted by over 200 million people. Start your GoFundMe today at GoFundMe.com. That's GoFundMe.com. GoFundMe.com. This podcast is supported by GoFundMe.
All right, Bruce, thanks for that interview. Ryan Murphy, he's got a real interesting, I guess, career in Hollywood. It feels like this is blending a few different series that he's done, like the Nip Tuck, but also American Horror Story, just kind of like a mixture of the various genres he's done.
Yeah, well, and I believe he's behind the John F. Kennedy Jr., Carolyn Bessette miniseries that's coming up as well. So he's not afraid to attack controversy.
Right.
He did the Monica Lewinsky story.
Mm-hmm.
But he also is giving you maybe the gossip that you didn't think you had
Right.
in some of these instances. And so it's fascinating. I bless him for doing it because I don't know anybody else who would. They're very insular in Hollywood where they don't want to talk about certain things. And he just broaches the subject. There it is. We're right out there,
Yep.
So, yeah. So it's a fascinating limited series that it does come to a conclusion because I was afraid we'd get to the end and then it's like, wait a minute, is there another season of this? But I think it does have an end point. So,
Okay. Interesting.
And last week we talked that you had seen the Seven Kingdoms.
Right. Yeah. Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was surprised that it wasn't like the Game of Thrones.
Right. Right. Very different. Very different. I mean, as we talked a little bit last week, the first two series, both the original Game of Thrones and then House of the Dragon, it's very much about the nobility of Westeros, the High Lords, the kings, all of that. This is a very, very common. Yes. Like he's a knight, but, just barely kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. What were your thoughts?
I thought it was more accessible. it was like if I hadn't watched Game of Thrones, I would be able to understand who these people were and maybe find out who the rest of those other people were if I went back and tried to see Game of Thrones.
Sure.
So I was intrigued, but I thought I don't think they spent the money like they do on the other ones.
No, and it's I'm not sure what the end game is on it, but it has been confirmed they are picking it up. There is a season 2. Season 2 comes out next
You're
year.
shooting it now.
Yeah. So it's it's going to be it will be back. So whether you like it or not, you're getting more of it. So which it does make me happy in a sense that they're willing to commit to something. Like they have, you have this intellectual property. I think in some cases, like Disney in particular, with some of the Star Wars stuff they've done, they had that show, The Acolyte, where it was a bit uneven at times, and then they canceled it. There was no season 2, even though they kind of foreshadowed to some things to come. So it was frustrating that a show that, it struggled, it was up and down, but it didn't get an opportunity to kind of straighten itself out, which maybe it could have. So it's good to see that with this one where, it's a short season 1. It's only about 6 episodes. They've just said, yeah, we're going to do season 2 regardless. And, they've committed to it, which is good. I wish more shows would take a chance like that.
Yeah, well, and I think that's what gets people not to invest time into a series because they think, well, they might just end it anyway, and so we wouldn't know how it ended as it was.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So I don't know if that's I have gotten to see some other things.
Okay.
And I have to be careful about I'm not spilling anything, so please don't infer. But I got to see the new Yellowstone spinoff.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. I'm going to just put it that way because I think it is made more for a broadcast audience than I was expecting.
Okay. Interesting.
And read into that what you will. And then I saw the Muppet Show.
Oh, okay.
And the Muppet Show, which premieres I think next week, it's reminiscent of the old Muppet Show.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's as creative as the old Muppet Show.
Interesting.
But again, you read into that what you will.
Yeah. Wow. Here's an interesting thing, with bringing shows back from kind of like the dead. Did you see Ted Lasso is coming back for season 4?
Yes, I've seen the ads and everything.
Yeah, this kind of came out of the blue. I mean, I think when season 3 wrapped, you had a sense that even though they said this was it had you had that sense where they could pick it up again, and maybe did Jason Sudeikis just need a break or what?
I think that's it. Are you giving up on something that's a hit?
Right, and it was so good. But it looks interesting, so he comes back and he's going to coach, I guess, the women's version of FC Richmond. So, it's new, most or all of the original cast is coming back. Plus they'll add in kind of a new cast. So it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think they felt that, we do need a break.
Yep.
And I think they saw shows that, like The Bear, which is one that I love, that they're just going to go to the end, get 5 out of there, and then we're done.
Right.
Instead of maybe taking that creative break and coming back with new life to it.
Yeah.
But, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Right.
I'm curious about it, but I'm waiting for that because we need more comedies.
We do. And this weekend I had an opportunity to kind of get caught up as I'm trying to watch as many Oscar nominated things that I can.
Oh yeah.
I saw one battle after another this weekend. That was crazy. I mean, I love Paul Thomas Anderson movies, so you always know you're going to get something that's a little bit offbeat and weird, and this is definitely offbeat and weird, but also topical in the sense that you've got these revolutionaries
Right.
in kind of interesting times where they're the movie starts with them busting out migrants that are being held in a like detention facility on the border. But yeah, it was an interesting one. I mean, I wasn't expecting what it was. I mean, it was fun for me start to finish. It was good. I liked it. I'll be curious to see what's that?
Was it his best?
No. I mean, to me, it was There Will Be Blood, the one about the oil tycoon.
Yeah.
To me, that is like his crowning achievement of, but he did that at the same time as, the Coen brothers had their movie out that year.
So this is more like The Departed.
Yeah.
Where we're going to do a make good on the best picture.
Right.
Because we haven't done it to you before.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So
I don't you think though it will win best picture? I think it will.
I think it has a really good chance. It's certainly, I would be shocked. I mean, again, Paul Thomas Anderson, now he's up to 16 career Oscar nominations with no wins. I have to think like with three nominations between screenplay, director, and best picture, he's going to get something. But what will it be? Best director? Will it just be best picture? Or do they just cheap out and just say like screenplay? It was good, but
we've seen it where the director goes to one person and picture goes to another.
Yeah,
that's very common lately, and I wouldn't doubt that could happen.
Right.
I am a hardcore fan of Hamnet,
Mhm.
but I don't think that's going to be the spoiler. I think Sinners is the one that could be the one who wins.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to watch that one this weekend because I think that one is also on either HBO or Netflix right now. I added it to my wish list, so it's on one of those platforms. I can't remember which.
Then did you rush out to get your action figures?
Yeah, so what's her name? Tiana
Taylor?
Tiana Taylor, right. Tiana Taylor hosted Saturday Night Live. And that may have been the only funny skit of the episode where they were talking about the action, the kids' action, the Paul Thomas Anderson line of action figures from a movie, and how inappropriate they were. That was very well done, and it was kind of ironic because I watched the movie the night before and then SNL the next day. But I don't know how you have felt. I know you're a big fan of SNL like I am. This season overall has just been bad. I don't know any other way to describe it, but and what's weird is that it's not like they completely gutted the cast and they're starting from scratch. It just feels like, I thought a few of the people that departed after last season, like Ego Nodum and Heidi Gardner, I don't think those were good decisions. And it just, I don't know, it just feels stale. The show feels really, really stale right now.
It was his name, Michael Longfellow.
Mm-hmm.
I like him too, and he
Yep.
was another one that they dumped.
Yep.
But you know what's happened is they have far too many episodes that involve people sitting around a table,
Right.
or they might have game shows.
Yep.
What happened to them doing a spoof of something that's in the zeitgeist?
Right.
When people are talking about whatever, why aren't they doing that as a spoof?
Mm-hmm.
And they did a little thing. Was it the Trump Awards at the beginning?
Right.
But that, again, and we've talked about this before, that opening thing should not always be political.
Right.
And every week it's a political thing, and I don't want it.
No.
And especially this last week when there was a lot of concern by people about the shooting in Minneapolis, that it's not, I couldn't laugh and I wouldn't laugh.
Right.
And so I think they need to take a pulse of what the country is out there and realize that sometimes we need the escape.
Yeah. So this is an interesting thing because it sort of dawned on me, but I don't recall the last time a cold open wasn't political Trump related. I mean, it's been at least 2 full seasons. I don't remember. I mean, there was a time, right? Like there was a time in SNL where they wouldn't touch politics in the cold open, correct?
Right. But I think there was one this year where they didn't do it, and I don't know what the reason was, but it was I welcomed it
Yeah.
because I don't want to always be confronted with that. And then they kind of figured they're done with that, or if they revive it for the news, then they're okay. But hold it,
Right.
you know?
I mean, and we have, look, there's a long history on SNL, whether it's Phil Hartman doing Bill Clinton, Dana Carvey doing George Bush. They've been doing that forever. And there's no reason they should stop. And I think James Austin Johnson does a nice job as
Right.
Trump. And I think, he nails it pretty well. But I don't need it every single week. We can like escape from politics every once in a while.
Well, and where are those characters that we used to see that were created by their actors or
Right.
their performance that we don't, let's bring back, name one, and there isn't anyone.
There's
They
not
just-
been right. We don't have like Wayne's World anymore. We don't have a Matt Foley motivational speaker anymore. We occasionally, what's that?
The Target woman that Kristen Wiig
Right,
used to play.
Right. I mean, I think the closest we had maybe was last year when they brought, what was it, Domingo?
And he got on like 2 or 3 times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the last times that I could think of where they really did a skit kind of over and over again. I think the closest we've had this season is twice they've done those cartoons, Brad and his dad, which have been kind of funny for me.
Right.
And then they've twice done because it was with was it with Ariana Grande, or no, it was the podcast.
Podcasters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
so that that's been funny, and I get a kick out of both of those, the Brad and the Dad and the Podcasters. I laugh at those because it gets at kind of cultural things that I see with my kids. Like they call the Podcasters, they call the oldest, the one that's like 13, where the rest of them are 12. They refer to him as Unc because he's old, right? And like my kids, they'll have a friend that's older than them, even though they're all freshmen. But that one freshman that's older than them, they refer to as Unc. So it's like, these are real things. These are words that kids are using today. But so I can kind of I can connect to this. But beyond that, I mean, I feel like every episode is just bad. I can get into Weekend Update is basically the only thing I laugh at these days. It's not good.
And I'm tired of Weekend Update. I think the format is too stale, where they'll do a couple of banters with their back and forth with the things, and then they'll bring on one of the new kids who doesn't get a lot of time,
Right.
to create a character that maybe will stick or maybe will be gone.
Right.
And then if they really need to dig, they'll bring back somebody from one of the old casts and ask them to play something that they've done before too.
Right.
So I wish that were a little less predictable. I think the best thing they've done is have Colin Jost as the Secretary of Defense.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It shows that he has more talent than just sitting there and laughing about jokes that include his wife.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
I wish they would. I wish they'd take another look at it, because I'm in. I will be there every Saturday night.
Yeah.
Because it's tradition for me.
Right.
But I know that they're not getting new people at all.
No. It's the show's getting stale, and it almost feels like we might be getting to a point where maybe we are witnessing the last season or close to it. Is when Lauren steps down, is this thing going to die with him, or is there somebody that's going to take it over? I don't know.
Will Tina Fey do it?
Right.
And she's been pretty quiet lately, so maybe she is thinking about it.
Yeah.
And she is making some plans. I don't know, but she would be good.
Yeah.
Because she does catch it. Look at how she was able to do Sarah Palin.
Right.
And they were on the edge of those kinds of things, where I think it would be fun to see other people in our world being lampooned.
Right.
Shouldn't just be Trump.
Right.
And so that's where I think she would bring that in. And there was a woman that she did this last year did she do Kristi Noem?
Yes, I think she did.
And I did not know it was Tina Fey until after the skit was over. And I thought, well, that was good. She did a good job with that.
Yeah.
But we'll see,
Yeah.
Look at the rest of television. Where are your humor spots? We need more of them. We need to laugh.
We do. It's been rough. It's a rough patch, so hopefully Ted Lasso will be back and will give us an opportunity to smile a little bit. But yeah, it's an interesting time on TV.
Well, YouTube has been running lately a lot of old episodes of the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Mhm.
And you go back and you remember what that time was, and they hold up. They really do. Even though, they're sitting there at typewriters and, it's a different kind of mindset.
Mhm.
I think they could do a television kind of setting and capture what we're seeing today on TV.
Yeah.
I think it would be fascinating to see that. But the Mary Tyler Moore Show, if you ever need a break from all that, go watch some of those old episodes because they're very good. Very, very funny.
Well, there you go.
And you see a different world than what for me, it was a different Minneapolis.
Sure.
And I knew that Minneapolis very well. And I remember that was an aspirational place. It was like, I don't know if it was the same for you because you didn't grow up in this part of the Midwest, but if you could make it in Minneapolis, you had made it.
Right.
And I remember talking to Tom Brokaw at one time, and he said his goal was always to be on a station in Minneapolis. He never thought anything beyond, like that was the ultimate. To be an anchor of a network TV broadcast, no, he wasn't interested in that.
Yeah.
But it happened. So he got better than Minneapolis, but maybe Minneapolis was still a goal.
Yeah. Growing up out east, you always thought about like making it in New York, right? The same idea.
Right.
Because if you're in the suburbs, you want to get to the city, right? So if you're in like northern Indiana or somewhere in Illinois, you're probably thinking like, I got to get to Chicago, right? If you're in the suburbs, you want to get into LA. And I think that's kind of it.
New York is always the ultimate for even now.
Yeah.
Where you go, if I can make it in New York, I can make it.
Right.
And I don't know necessarily that we're seeing those kinds of people who are elevated to anchor status on news shows.
Mm-hmm.
Who have kind of paid their dues to get there. I think it's suddenly like, who is this person? Look at the 3 anchors on the nightly news. David Muir is the one with any kind of longevity.
Right. Yeah. I can't even name who's on, who's anchoring these days.
Yamas on NBC, and then on CBS is the one who's in trouble.
Right. Yeah. But there was a time, when it would be like, oh yeah, Peter Jennings and
Walter Cronkite,
Tom Brokaw, and Dan Rather. Exactly. You knew.
I remember Hundley Brinkley. So there tells you how old I go back.
There you go.
But you knew what you were getting because you knew those people. You've seen them so many nights in your home. These guys, wasn't he a correspondent last week wearing a jacket for another network? I think that's where some of those ones come from. Yeah. They jump from network to network. But anyway, that's why we need breaks.
Yep.
That's why we need something else to look forward to. Bring on the comedies.
Exactly. Well, on that note, thank you again for listening, and we'll be back again next week with another episode of Streamed and Screened.